Welcome to the PDX files. Each week we dive into the weird and the unexplained here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. My name is Peej.
And I'm Mac.
And Mac. We are going to be talking about the seven creepy things that happened on New Year's Eve because, of course, this particular video will drop just a couple of days before New Year's Eve. And just in case I forget to greet you, Happy New Year, man.
Yeah, and then I gotta say it's probably been I just turned 50 this year, and so the last three years I think we haven't done the family and I have just been asleep by about 10:30 or 11 o'clock. So one of the things I like to do on New Year's Eve, as always has been, is to watch. I don't really like a New Year's party kind of person. I didn't want to end up like Lieutenant Dan. Certainly didn't want to end up like that. But I do like to watch some of the Twilight Zone episodes that's on the Sci-Fi Channel or some of the channel nowadays. I think they're still maintaining the tradition, and I think that's really cool. And so that's weird and unusual, and I'm hoping that we get to, because I haven't seen into this. I want to get into the weird and unusual, and also Happy New Year's to you as well.
And so, yeah, so seven creepy things that happened New Year's Eve. And so, kind of taking a page out of the book, out of your book, I did not actually watch the video. I just looked at the timestamps. So
Yep.
my reactions, just as your reactions would be, will be authentic. And so here we go.
On New Year's Eve of 1920, the Drake Hotel in Chicago celebrated its opening night, which started with elegance but ended in tragedy. The Drake was expected to be one of the city's most beautiful and elegant hotels, but it ended in tragedy because it was the night a woman referred to as the Woman in Red ended her life.
Hmm.
This New Year's Eve day, a man and his fiancée, who was wearing a red silk gown, attended the gala held in the Drake's Gold Coast room. The man stepped away and did not return for over an hour, so his fiancée went looking for him. When she found him, he was accompanied with another woman whom he was
Uh,
showing attention to. The
That ain't good.
devastated woman climbed the roof and jumped to her death. Since then, guests at the Drake have reported seeing her apparition in the Gold Coast room, the Palm Court, and on the 10th floor, as well as the roof. People also still to this day allegedly report hearing a woman's cries on the 10th floor and on the roof. Some believe her soul is condemned to replay her final night, attempting to find peace with the final tragic chapter of her life. Workers and guests have also on numerous occasions reported getting a creepy, uncomfortable feeling in the ballroom.
Chicago is probably full. A lot of those kind of places. I didn't stay at the Drake, but I think it was the Westin Hotel the last time. I mean, the only time I've been really in Chicago, and that had a creepy feel to it as well. I don't know about this chick here. She got pissed off about getting cheated on and like left over the balcony, maybe. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if there weren't some type of paranormal activity in some of these places.
and I agreed. And the fact that it was on New Year's Eve, I mean, talk about kind of like that being at the nexus, right, of the old year and the new year. And so her ending her life then and likely kind of led to her being cursed to relive the night over and over again. um
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's the Jillian calendar, right? So it's not the Chinese New Year's or the Hindu calendar, but I think it is interesting though that some of the things do happen at these sort of mileposts. And in a city like that, absolutely, I can believe something's going on. It leads me to just the sort of kind of they're describing it as a little bit more of like a residual haunting,
Residual, right.
if that makes sense. It's like it keeps
Yeah.
happening over and over again, the same kind of thing. But absolutely, if I saw something like that, I'd be freaked the fuck out, and I would want to post that shit on X or whatever the hell they call it nowadays.
I would be the same. All right, let's continue here.
On New Year's Eve in 2013, a man named Joseph Scott was hosting a house party among his close friends. The party was going normal until a few different friends started asking Joe about the sounds coming from the ceiling. The party was
Joe.
being held in the living room, and the attic was right above the living room. Joseph went to the bedroom, which had the attic door inside of it, and pulled the attic door down.
No.
He did this without telling anyone so as to not make any of the guests uncomfortable. But after
Yeah, I'm
moments of
comfortable right
noise, he
now.
couldn't just ignore it and have that lingering in his head. Upon checking the attic, Joseph heard a loud, distinct cracking sound from the other side, behind a wooden wall. He thought there might have been a raccoon up there, so he walked across the wooden boards of the attic, hearing his intoxicated friends down below in the living room laughing, asking, "What the hell is that noise?" When he got to the back section of the attic, which according to the layout was directly on top of the front door area of the living room, he saw
Hmm.
someone's hands wrapped around the top of a box, but their body wasn't visible. Joseph screamed as he was startled, but then he quickly assumed it was one of his friends. He went closer, and somebody who he didn't know popped their head out from behind the box. A middle-aged, angry-looking man. Joseph screamed bloody murder as he ran out of the attic yelling for his friends. He and his guy friends waited by the attic door guarding it while they waited for the police. Police were able to remove the man from the attic with ease. He was unarmed. The man didn't know anyone at the party, and he admitted to simply walking in during the party. He claimed he meant no wrongdoing. However, it's pretty likely he was planning on robbing the place when everyone was gone, or possibly worse.
Okay, I thought it was gonna
What's that have to do with the murder? I'm curious about that. Where was the murder going on there? But also, I see some middle-aged man, similar to myself, up in an attic. I could have screamed. I'm probably going to punch that goddamn bastard in the face. It's like, what are you doing in my house, you son of a
well,
bitch?
well, yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, because obviously, I was expecting it to be paranormal, to be honest with you. Because I mean, and I've got to
Mr.
say,
Nightmare. Yeah, come on
say
now.
again.
Mr.
Well,
Nightmare, come on now.
exactly. And the other thing is that I believe we did another video a long time ago. I think it was like frogging. Is that what it's called? Where there's people who live in the house in your house that
Six
you didn't.
seven, 6'7". I don't know.
Anywho,
I
okay,
just, I
that's
just, I just heard my son in the background scream like he recognized 6'7", which is really pathetic.
well. I don't know.
Uh,
Maybe what I don't know what that will do to the algorithm for this video when you mentioned 6'7". Maybe
Six
we'll
seven's going
attract
to help us. It'll nothing
a
but
bunch of
help
Gen
us.
Alphas. All right, here we
Yeah.
go.
Similarly, with this one we have another party crashing type of story, as yet another uninvited guest somehow finds themselves in a random party. Only with
Uh,
this one, the guests seem to have materialized out of nowhere and joined the storyteller's New Year's Eve party. There was an
okay, I'm
older woman
down. I'm
dressed in
down.
all white who was seen by most of the partygoers. All of the doors and windows were locked, and no one admitted to letting the old woman into the house.
Oh, she's an old woman.
Light and festive mood, the hostess did not ask the lady in white to leave. But according to multiple party guests, the woman reported that she was lost and couldn't find the party she was actually heading to. Upon leaving the party,
Hmm.
she dropped two scarves on the doorstep. To this day, nobody that was there at that party knows how she got in. To add to this mystery, the writer adds that her cousin saw the same woman in his dreams a few nights later. No one ever saw her again.
I mean, that's you know, some sort of mature porn kind of stuff, or whatever's going on. But it's really weird that again, did I get that there's something like watching the door? Is
They
that
were
what I'm
saying
getting?
they were saying that all the doors were locked and nobody saw this woman come in.
I
So
mean, anybody could have come in. I mean, and whether they look like that or not, I don't know. But you get some old granny who wants to sort of revisit the old days. It's certainly possible, but interesting that it was a lady in white. You hear that a lot, though, in like
right.
paranormal. So it's certainly possible. I'm not going to discount that at all.
I mean, but if everybody's partying, they're distracted. They're not going to pay attention to every single detail. So the fact that they were saying, well, this lady just appeared out of nowhere. I mean, yeah, she could have just as easily walked through the door, nobody noticed, and
The door wasn't locked. Yeah, there wasn't
the door
anybody like a
wasn't locked.
bouncer there. I need $5 to get in. You know,
She just helped
yeah.
herself to the party, but again, still, it's New Year's
It's
Eve.
fun. It's fun. I like it. I like it.
It's
I love
fun.
it.
I mean, like if you're not expecting anything, and if she wasn't causing any issues, that's fine.
Yeah, she didn't do shit. She just sort of freaked out a couple people like, "Hey, what's this like 7-year-old gal doing in my party?" It's like, "Oh, well, I guess someone invited her." That's probably what I've been thinking is like, "Oh, okay. Granny had no place to stay that night.
Yeah, yeah,
Want her
grandma.
to go party."
All right, next one.
Awesome.
This one was recounted by a young woman and her boyfriend. The two were cleaning up the boyfriend's place, getting ready to have people over for New Year's Eve.
Okay.
The couple was
Okay.
cleaning. They kept losing things and finding them back in the same place a few minutes later.
Hmm.
Both thought that they were just imagining it at first, or that the other was moving the objects without them seeing. but it kept happening over and over. And every time they needed something, it would disappear. Eventually, company starts to arrive. Their friend Carson gets there first, and the three sit down and
Carson.
watch TV.
Carson.
That's when the boyfriend made a statement, and in return, an unknown man's voice said, "Right." The three of them looked around to see if the boyfriend's roommates had returned, but no one was there. Later, when the roommates did return, they told the couple and Carson that they had been hearing the same thing since the night of the recently passed eclipse. A while later, the woman went to the bathroom, and as she was washing her hands, she heard a loud cough right behind her ear. All of the hairs on her neck stood up as she ran out of there. At first, no one believed her, but when the rest of their company arrived, and they too eventually said that they heard a cough in the bathroom as well, it's not hard to tell why everyone believed her after that. The woman heard a cough in the bathroom one more time the next morning, but didn't hear anything again for a whole year, leading her to believe the strange occurrences only happen around the holidays.
Again, kind of another. If that's actually a haunt, that's a residual haunt, clearly. And could have like also that's an AI image. You can see like the weird handles that are going on for the sink, but it's an interesting story. That seems to me like a very legitimate type of residual haunt. It's like you're not seeing anything, they're not really interacting with you. You just happen to be there at the same time. It happens at the same time every year. There's like a pattern to it. But yeah, I would love to be able to be able to view that. That'd be fantastic.
I don't know if it was residual, if it seemed to have responded to a question.
Maybe,
It could have
maybe.
been coincidental.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Party crashers. All right. Here you go.
Um,
The Monte Vista Hotel in Flagstaff, Arizona, opened on New Year's Day of
hmm,
1927, and during the
I've seen
1940s
that place.
it was a popular spot for Hollywood guests, and more than 100 Western movies were filmed nearby. Some of the guests of the hotel included Bing Crosby, Jane Russell, Gary Cooper, Spencer Tracy, and many others. There are many stories and legends of ghosts in the
6'7".
one of the more notable ones being the Phantom Bellboy, who knocks on doors and then vanishes. There have been dozens of guests
Stop
over the
saying
years
six
reporting that
seven.
somebody would knock on their doors, then when they open them, nobody would be there. Alongside the bellboy is often what is believed to be a woman who has been seen multiple times outside of the suite that author Zane Grey stayed in, which, as it turns out, is a room in which two prostitutes had been murdered long ago. But there's more
Hmm.
with this hotel. Multiple guests who have stayed in the room that actor Gary Cooper stayed in have reported hearing a man coughing and clearing his throat, pacing back and forth. Many guests have reported feeling unnerved by the distinct feeling that someone is watching them in that room. One of the last more notable paranormal phenomenons that have been reported in the hotel comes from the saloon. People believe a former bank robber haunts the saloon.
Hmm.
Once again, multiple guests have heard a voice and sounds from people who weren't there and report an uneasy feeling of being watched. Ellen Roberts, a hotel desk clerk, reported that in 1970, three men robbed a nearby bank and to celebrate, stopped in our lounge for a drink, even though one of the men had been shot during their escape. While having his drink, the wounded man died, and some believe that he is the spirit that's haunting this area of the building. The hotel remains open to this day, and many people visit in hopes of encountering some paranormal activity.
You said you've been to this hotel. You've seen this.
I haven't been. I've driven past it. It definitely. I mean, yeah, it has a look to it and a feel. You can sort of, you know, um, when I was in Tombstone, you can go to that graveyard. It was a couple of years ago, and you sort of just feel like stuff. And I'm not usually like a believer in like graveyard kind of stuff, but there's some areas in the U.S. and around the world that just sort of have that kind of weird, creepy feeling. Like there's graveyards in the U.S. or in Portland where I've been. It's like I don't feel anything whatsoever.
Mhm. Right.
Right? It's like I can walk through there like whatevs. But there's certain places like there's even in Oregon, the in Baker City, the Grand Geyser Hotel is one of those places that I've been is allegedly haunted. Like I've never felt anything there
You've not felt uncomfortable. You've not
at
noticed
all, at
anything.
all.
Right.
Yeah, and I think some of it, and that's not to say that it's not, but I think some other people may have kind of this, maybe they have a second sense or a third sense about it, and Maybe they feel that way. I've never felt that way, but in certain places I have. So I don't think I'm. And I've always wished to be able to see some of this stuff. I've told you this before. It's like I wish I could prove it. Like we've proven some stuff on film. At least we think we have anyway in a previous ghost hunting life. But whether this place is real or not, maybe. I certainly got the sense driving past it that there was an aura certainly around it.
Sure. And also, it's the sixth sense is what you were trying to get to earlier because there's five
Yeah,
senses, and
yeah.
so.
Thank you for correcting my lack of sense.
But but in terms of historical places like an old hotel, certainly I think from an
There's
energy,
some lore, yeah,
and well, there's lore, but then I think there's energy, and honestly, it's probably faulty wiring that's also like creating that fear cage, right? We talked about it in an earlier
absolutely.
um, episode, especially like when you're talking about a saloon, a bar, and I saw from the picture, I don't know if that's a depiction of the actual lounge, but the ceilings are very low. So again, we're talking about all of these elements that just add to that. Those are the ingredients that kind of create that fear cage type of situation.
Absolutely, and that was kind of the same thing that I got as far as the Great Geyser Hotel or the Geyser Grand. I can't remember the exact name. The one that's in Baker City, Oregon, is like most of the studies were underneath, were like in the basement, right, where you'd expect it. And I didn't take any like equipment there. I couldn't really do that at the time. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if there was like exposed wiring or like a fear cage
Yeah.
kind of situation going on down there. It would make a lot of sense. Plus,
Yes.
it's just like they're already hyping up the fact that it could be haunted. So if you already go in there with like this like ideas like then definitely I could see how that could go down.
Yeah, you've got preconceived notions about the hotel. I mean, the narrator did say that people actually purposefully go to the hotel to see whether they can get
Just to see if they can,
yeah, a haunted
exactly.
experience. Geyser Grand Hotel.
Guys are grand. Yeah, I know it was one of the two. I couldn't remember
Yeah.
which one, but yeah.
All right, let's move on.
On New Year's Eve 1997, two friends Olivia Hope and Ben Smart were celebrating New Year's Eve and ran into trouble after their rental yacht that they planned to sleep on was overcrowded. They located a water taxi still operating and got on. Sharing the ride with them was a man
Water
who they
taxi.
had nowhere to sleep and offered to let them stay on his boat. As this was their only real option, they accepted and the taxi took them to the man's yacht. They climbed aboard the stranger's boat between 4 and 5 a.m. After that,
Really?
friends were never seen again.
Mm.
The police conducted an investigation, and despite a number of witnesses describing the same man and the same two-masted sailing boat, they focused on a man with a smaller boat named Scott Watson. Where this crime case went from there has been a source of controversy ever since. Police are
Hmm.
confident they got the man responsible for Ben and Olivia's disappearances and likely murders. Even 2 decades later, the mystery around this case remains.
How did that guy get over on them? Like I would expect like an old guy like that to get his ass beat trying to do something, but maybe he brought up what Dennis did and It's Always Sunny. It's like it's the implication of danger when you're in the ocean. It's like I don't, like that guy there with the glasses. Like I don't feel like I would be that afraid of that guy somehow. He
Well,
has a gun, but you can make things happen, right? Maybe I
it,
don't know.
it could be a variety of methods. I mean, they could have been drugged. They could have been lured into a little
The
bit of a
drug
hey,
thing.
it's New
Yeah,
Year's Eve. Let's have some drinks. The drinks could
mm,
have been drugged.
mm,
I don't mean, there's all those things. I mean, it's New Year's Eve.
yeah. That's
So
true. They could have been Cosby. Certainly, they could have been a possibility there. But yeah, if all things are equal, that guy's getting his ass kicked. I think by Ben. I mean, he doesn't look like he was that great. I mean, he's got like a weird kind of sailor thing going on there with that shirt. But I feel like between the two of them, they're young enough that they could have beaten his ass.
they
But
could have overpowered that guy.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Um,
But again, unless he was there's an implication, then it's possible.
so first of all, the fact that you inserted an "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" reference into this video, that's pretty freaking fun. All
It's
right,
pretty good. Pretty
let's
good.
go. Let's continue here.
On New Year's Eve of 2017, a group of friends had went on a camping trip to the Acadia National Park in Maine. They had been
Ah,
planning a New Year's camping trip for a long time, and it finally came to fruition. The six friends were separated into three different tents. They set up camp on a riverbank and set up their portable barbecue and campfire. The group had also come prepared with a bunch of fireworks to shoot off at midnight. For the
nice.
majority of their time at the campsite, the friends had music blasting on their portable speaker and were drinking tequila. As the
Uh,
group got more intoxicated and louder, one of the friends told everyone to quiet down for a second and lowered the music because he thought he could hear something in the woods. While the group was quiet, they heard it. It was this long and slow whistling sound that would echo every few seconds.
oh, that ain't good.
One suggested it was someone whistling, and one suggested it was a literal whistle being blown by someone. When they were quiet for long enough, the sound stopped. Eventually, the group resumed playing their music and drinking their drinks. When midnight came, the group began to shoot off their fireworks one at a time. After maybe 4 or 5 fireworks exploding, a blood-curdling scream came from the woods.
Hmm.
The screams continued on and on. The group stopped shooting their fireworks and all jumped into their tents to hide, completely freaked out. The screaming stopped, but 3 of the 6 said they heard footsteps approach the campsite. And through the tent walls, reflecting through the glow of the campfire, they could see a very tall, hunched over figure, ruling out the possibility of some small animal making the screaming sounds. It didn't stay
Hmm.
long, though. It disappeared along with the footsteps back into the woods. The group was so terrified they all communicated through their tents, not wanting to leave. They were simply too scared to even take the time to pack up and leave. They waited it out until the sun began to rise. Then the group packed up and they were on their way. Not the most desirable experience to start a new year.
That's for damn sure.
I mean, to me, these seem pretty lame because it said how many people? 8 or 10 or 12? How
Six,
many?
6 of them.
6, 7? Okay, that's enough that you can like, pick up some like sticks and stones and like sort of make it like a little perimeter around what's going on. It's like, it's some like that's the thing is like some of these horror movies and things like that people get into is like it's some like it's like it's one of them, but there's like 17 of you.
Oh,
Like just
oh,
beat their ass with like sticks and stones.
sticks and stones may not break that guy's bones. And the
Well,
thing
but
is, though,
it's the thing behind it. It's like it's the intention behind it, right?
it's the yeah,
Like we're
exactly.
not scared, and that
It's
actually
passion,
does exist. And
more
houses is
passion.
like, yeah, you don't want to be afraid of like a poltergeist or a demon in your house. You want to show some like gumption
Listen,
behind it.
listen. If it's Jason or the guy with the from Halloween, Mike Myers.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
maybe
like
Pinhead,
freakishly strong, and so you don't know. I mean,
but it's usually one on one, right? It's one on
and
one.
but the other part of this also is that I mean, these people have been drinking, and so their
Yeah,
defenses,
that's true. Yeah, yeah.
their defensive uh, acumen may be decreased by then. So definitely hide in your tent, your flimsy tent, in order
It
to.
provides no just like no protection whatsoever. It's got in the tent. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, hopefully the folks who are listening to this podcast or viewing this video on YouTube know exactly what not to do
On
for
New Year's
Eve.
Eve.
Yeah. And for those of you who are watching this after New Year's Eve, hopefully, well, you were safe. You
You
got
can
through
sort
it.
of reuse some of these lessons. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, folks, if you enjoy this content, please give it a like and share it across your socials to help get the word out about our show. If you hadn't already done so, please subscribe. And on YouTube, hit that notification bell to make sure you don't miss out on future episodes. Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.